Good afternoon, and welcome to a brand new Caltech series featuring faculty and researchers demonstrating their prowess in the performing arts. And we're thrilled to be beginning with Professor Konstantin Batygin, who has been on faculty now for how many years, Konstantin?
It feels like only a couple days, but I think it's coming up on 7 years.
Well,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
quite a history already. And just for the benefit of our viewers, Konstantin Batygin is a professor of planetary science. He has been recognized by the Genius 100 Foundation that invites great thinkers to address critical humanitarian and environmental issues. He's a rock and roll electric guitarist and plays with his band, The Seventh Season. In 2015, Forbes magazine listed Konstantin as one of 30 scientists under 30 who are changing the world. And he was also named as one of the brilliant 10 people of 2016 by Popular Sciences magazine. So it's interesting to note that somebody who's been so well recognized in the sciences has also got quite a history as a musician.
Well,
starting with the fact that you're going to argue with me about this?
Yeah, because on the Forbes list, I was really hoping to end up on the rich list, but they put me on the smart list instead, but the night is young.
And you're young.
Well,
and if I'm not mistaken, you even picked your undergraduate college based on where you were going to be able to spend time working on music and surfing more than on your science.
100%. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the role that music plays in your life.
Look, it plays a huge role. It plays a defining and continuous role in my life. Music has always been not just a creative outlet, but it has been, a creative input. There's a one-to-one correlation between my ability to come up with something new scientifically and the amount of time that I spend, writing music or playing music. There are times, for example, where I, don't get to play as much if I'm traveling or something like that, where I feel myself losing creativity, and it comes back only when I spend the time making music. So I think it's one of these things which is not a counterbalance. People like to talk about like some work-life balance. For me, it's not really a counterbalance. It is the thing.
And we're going to get an opportunity this afternoon to not only hear 3 pieces that you wrote, both the lyrics and the music to, but also a piece that we'll talk about later that you did with the Miami Symphony Orchestra. But you have a long association with Eric Petigura, who has been both a science partner as well as a musical partner with you. Do you want to introduce him just in terms of his quick bio so the rest of us will know who he is?
Yeah, absolutely. I met Eric when both of us were graduate students. Actually, I met him at a conference and we just kind of talked briefly over beers. And then he came to Caltech as a postdoc right about when I started as a prof. So I think must have been 2015. And our initial, commonality of interest, we both work on extrasolar planets, but we weren't collaborating on anything in particular. We were just, talking about planets all the time. But our initial kind of link was over music. I noted that he, told me that he played guitar, and I was like, well, you should come over and we should jam sometime. And that's how we kind of got going, and he joined the band. And really, as a consequence of becoming friends from playing, music together, it was then that we got involved in research together. So, we've been, close collaborators since. Eric is now a professor of astronomy at UCLA. So it's really awesome that he has been, he has remained local, so we can both keep our scientific and musical collaborations going in perpetuity.
Have you had a chance to console him since the Bruins' loss to Gonzaga?
I sort of barely know what sport that concerns. I mean, I really have zero ability to follow other people playing sports. So I assume that's hockey, right? But it might be soccer. I don't know. I don't know what, I don't know who the Bruins are. They're the USC team, right?
You are pulling my leg. It is UCLA where Eric is now based.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the first piece of music, Freeway?
It's a song that I wrote more than 10 years ago, but it's one that we put on our 2007 album. One of the reasons we keep playing it is that it's a great opener for a show, right? Whenever we play live, we have sort of naturally gravitated to Freeway as the song that we open all our sets with, independent of what the rest of the set is. It's a song where, in a live situation, you can get through it and sound pretty good, despite the fact that your hands freeze up from the adrenaline, right? And on the first song, and you can't really play that well. It's a song where, despite sound problems, right, it will sound okay. It's just one of these songs that is robust, so to say. Not everything has to go right for it to be right. And so we've really resonated with the song over the years, and the arrangement of the song, the way we play it, has evolved over time. And this acoustic version that you'll hear momentarily is indeed kind of I want to call it a remake, but it is somewhat of a reimagination of how we wrote it in the first place back more than 10 years ago.
Let's give it a listen.
Empty freeway with just silence being wrapped around. With my fear allowed to take a few steps back and realize I'm buried in the ground. I try to walk, my body's frozen, my lungs inside are filled with dust. There isn't much left to be chosen, yet there's no one left in me to trust. In a summer days, riding waves of sorrow. In a summer days, with its lonely race, time will light tomorrow to rediscover new ways. These empty streets and concrete buildings have now become my home at last. So as they fall apart, with envy I begin to recall our past. So as I watch these empty grey skies, no one will stand between us all. With wild blood running through our veins, we finally will start to take this fall. We are falling out further and further. We're falling out further indeed. Nothing could save us from waking from this dream. Yeah, we are falling out further and further. we've planted our own future seed, and nothing we hear can override this creed. Yeah. Empty freeway whose just silence been wrapped around. With my fear loud, I take a few steps back and realize I'm buried in the ground. I try to walk, my body's frozen, my lungs inside are filled with dust. There isn't much left to be chosen, there's no one left in me to trust. In a summer days, riding waves of sorrow. In a summer days, with its lonely race, time will light tomorrow to rediscover new ways. In a summer days, riding waves of sorrow. In a summer days, with its lonely race, time will light tomorrow. Rediscover new ways, to rediscover new ways.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that as the first piece. You made a comment about this is what you open your live performances with. And obviously for the last many months, there's been no opportunity to play live in front of audiences, and possibly not even play together other than under the most protected of conditions. What has it been like for you as a performer to have to isolate yourself from audiences?
You know, I miss it tremendously. There is not, it's not something that is a repeatable or kind of a replaceable rush to play live. I absolutely love doing it, and the other guys in the band absolutely love doing it. Our last live show was February 28th. It was right before the the lockdown started. I remember it was in the Bay Area, and we were flying back, and it was like, it was flying first class on Southwest Airlines because we were the only people in the airplane. And yeah, I have no other way to say it other than that I miss it tremendously. And one of the really cool things about getting vaccinated is that I think it's only weeks away that we'll be able to once again start getting together with the guys and just start making noise, because there's nothing like it.
I don't know if audiences realize how important a role they have in live performances, that the energy that comes out of the audience feeds the artists, and they give a better performance when they know the audience is with them.
That's absolutely true. And I'm not sure if, I'm not sure if better is the right word to use. It's certainly not more, it's not more precise. When we play and we really resonate with the audience, I notice our energy level goes through the roof. We make way more mistakes, but everybody has way more fun, right? It's just, it's more imperfect, but it's somehow higher quality.
Because they're sensing the passion that you play with, which comes in part from being fed by the audience.
That's absolutely, there is an interaction there, which is difficult to, it's one of these things that are difficult to kind of quantify, right? And you can't say, okay, well, if you have, 12 people in the audience, you will have a result of X. And if you have 128, you will have a result of Y. It's different show to show. But and it's always, despite being different, it's always good in a unique way.
Why don't we go and listen to the second piece, which is Outlaw? Would you like to set that one up for us?
Yeah, this is a song that that we as a band always enjoy playing live. We usually put it, a song maybe number 3 or 4 in the set. We all collectively like it. And I have nothing more to say other than that it's one that we have a tremendous amount of fun with on stage.
Well, let's hear it.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Nightfall's coming, and it's time I hit the road. Leave all my mistakes behind. Not a coin in my pocket, not a thing to call my own. But what the hell, the future's blind. Every day I chase the setting California sun. See this outlaw was born to be free. I'm on the road and there's no place I'd rather be. I don't give a damn if you send the sheriff after me now. I'm gonna keep going till there's nothing left to see. Stand a whiskey in my dingy hotel room. It's all to washed away my creed. The sun is light now, see the morning's coming soon. It's time I let go of my greed. As every night I'm in Mojave toasting to my God. See this outlaw who's born to be free. I'm on the road and there's no place I'd rather be. I don't give a damn if you send the sheriff after me now. I'm gonna keep going till there's nothing left to see. Coming, and it's time I hit the road. So many years have passed since then. I'm still running, I ain't ready to reload. Yeah, I'm on the road again. See this outlaw was born to be free. I'm on the road and there's no place I'd rather be. I don't give a damn if you send the sheriff after me now. I'm gonna keep going till there's nothing left to see. Yeah, see this outlaw who's born to be free. I'm on the road and there is nowhere I'd rather be. I don't give a damn if you send the sheriff after me now. I'm gonna keep going till there's nothing left to see.
Again, thank you. And that one was equally wonderful. So I'm assuming that you still play a lot of music around the house, that you do take time to make music.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask if your kids are more impressed with you as a scientist or a musician?
It's a great question. I think, they, I really have never asked them this question, but I think they interact with me as a quote unquote musician more, just because when I take them to sleep, when it's my turn to take them to sleep, and I always bring my guitar and we, sing songs before everybody falls asleep. And so that's really, that's become kind of a tradition in our household. I know that at times, I'm sure they, they get bothered by it, especially if I'm, doing something in, the little home studio that I have, and I'm recording some weird harmony part, and it just, outside of the headphones, it just sounds like, an occasional scream or an occasional, I'm sure they sometimes think, is that supposed to be, a harmony part, or did he just hurt himself, which most of the time it's both. So, I think it's, music is something that they kind of by diffusion associate now with just kind of everyday life.
And you're giving your children a very, very special experience by being one of the very few families that actually live in student housing on campus. You want to speak a little bit about what that experience is like for you personally, as well as for your whole family?
There were, of course, the obvious, questions of, are we getting ourselves into something a little bit more than we can, chew? Are we biting off more than we can chew? Especially because when we just moved into the student housing as the faculty in residence program, participants, Liam, our son, was maybe one and a half, right? So, you kind of ask yourself, do you need, are we introducing more chaos in our lives than we already have? And it's been wonderful. It's actually, it's been wonderful. Of course, we are not currently in student housing because of COVID, but as soon as the lockdown ends, we will be back, in the program. It's been really phenomenal. I was a graduate student at Caltech, and I did not quite understand the undergraduate experience at Caltech, even as a professor, until we had the chance to really interact and get involved and understand the culture better. Overall, just absolutely zero regrets. It's been really, really fun, and it's been really awesome. And occasionally I even get to find out, what the latest thing is in programming languages, because I'm still kind of in 1977 as far as programming goes. And, I think I'm learning quite a bit from the undergrads as time passes by. And it's been great for the kids too.
That's wonderful. So the next piece is The Void. You want to tell us a little about that one?
Yeah, this is a song I wrote, while on travel, and it's really, the theme there is a simple one. It's missing home.
Well, and you are missing home in what you just said about living on student housing. And for those of you who are not totally familiar, Caltech's undergrads are all expected to live in the student housing buildings that are right there on the campus. They are a 3-minute walk from many of their classes. It's that close, and it creates a great opportunity for them to really, one, get to know each other, and to stay connected to the labs that they're associated with. Let's listen to The Void.
1, 2, 1. The day is almost over. Can you make it through the night? Surrounded by so many, you're alone here. Clocks, they keep on ticking, and you're trying to close your eyes, but the silence keeps on filling you with fear. You fall into the void again, as if you're out of luck. You're turning in your bed again. You wake and you're still in the dark, longing for your home-marks. Every single step you take, your awaited dreams keep losing their meaning. Your mistrust for yourself grows with every single smile you fake, and you anxiously await a new beginning. You fall into the void again, as if you're out of luck. You turning in your bed again. You wake and you're still in the dark. All this day is the last I'm away from home. I am leaving all this sorrow behind, and this day is the last when I'm alone, and my thoughts are no longer confined. Thrown into the void again, as if you're out of luck. You're turning in your bed again. You wake and the traffic is stuck. Though this day is almost over, can you make it through the night? Surrounded by so many, you're alone here.
Well, thank you very much for introducing us to your music through these last three pieces. Somewhere along the line, and I do want to invite our audiences to get a deeper understanding of the science that you are doing your research around, that there is a wonderful Watson lecture that you did a number of years ago. There are other talks that you have given that people can go to Google. You can Google Watson and Batygin and see the Watson lecture that he gave, because you have postulated that there is a super planet. I gather right now it's about 5 times the size of Earth is what you're...
5 times the mass of Earth, yeah.
And somehow a composer, music director in Miami, Eduardo Marturet, let me work on that. I was going to make it French rather than Spanish. It is the music director, the maestro for the Miami Symphony Orchestra, and he composed a piece to accompany Holt's Planets that honored your 9th planet to replace Pluto. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that piece, and then we'll get a chance to listen to it?
Yeah, you know, it's of course on the scientific side, this has been work that I've been involved in now for something on the order of 6 years. This is work done together with my partner in crime, Mike Brown, who's of course also faculty in GPS, just a few doors down from me. And as far as the connection with Eduardo goes, we were introduced by a mutual friend, Helen Hatsis, who said, you know, this is, you guys are both, you know, into similar things. Why don't you guys have a, you know, conversation? And she was really driving force behind making this happen initially. Now, Eduardo, and people throw around the word genius pretty loosely, but he really is a genius. I mean, working with him, seeing the way that he composes music is something like working, you know, watching a finely tuned machine, you know, turn out something incredible. And he got inspired by our research on the outer solar system, the Planet 9 hypothesis, and decided to write this this beautiful piece. Now back in, I guess, 2018, I went to Miami and we did a couple shows, one in early March, one in sort of late March, in the design district. That was super fun and really incredible. Since then, the piece actually evolved. It acquired a full second part. And this year, we were going to do this again, but of course, due to the COVID situation, we were trying to figure out what to do precisely, right? Playing live is not really a great option, right? So we decided, rather than doing this, let's create a recording that will be asynchronous. And again, with Helen as the driving force behind this, this project, we were able to send the recording up to the International Space Station, where I assume they're still blasting it on repeat. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. But yeah, it was really an extraordinary experience. And at no point, while gearing up for a career in science, was I like, well, the real reason I'm doing this is because at one point I'll play in the Miami Symphony so that we can stream that to the space station. Just was not part of my thought process.
You're being a bit modest too, because you and Eduardo and one of the astronauts up on the space station have a distinct honor of being recognized as geniuses by a Toronto-based organization. Do you want to speak a little bit about the specific astronaut that's up there and how this all came together?
Yeah, Soichi Noguchi is up there, and he was being honored and kind of recognized by the Albert Einstein Legacy Project on March 14th, which is Einstein's birthday this year, also Pi Day, and it was a really, like I said, it was a really incredible experience where we got to talk to him from practically on Zoom, the same way that we're talking now, and it's just it really it's one of the I'm not over exaggerating when I say that it's been truly one of the honors of my life to get to do this.
Well, thank you so much. Let's give a listen and turn the program now over to the Miami Symphony Orchestra. Wow. And when we think about the fact that that was recorded first in Miami, and then they sent it to you so that you could overdub, what an incredible accomplishment and achievement. And then what beautiful music, and what a gift to give to the astronauts up in the International Space Station.
Yeah.
Well, we want to give our audience a chance to ask you questions and share any thoughts that they may have. So we're going to switch now to a live broadcast. This was pre-recorded, but we're going to switch now to the live webcast and invite everybody to join us for further discussion. Konstantin, I can't thank you enough. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and you are an inspiration, I think, not just as a scientist, but as a musician, and showing that there's a real deep connection between the sciences and the arts.
Well, thank you
very much.
The pleasure is all mine.